G'day legends, Atron here, and welcome to the in-depth mechanics chat for the Deflect Archdemon. Now, I've been a little bit late on getting it to everyone, but it's well worth the wait. Big shout out to Mr. Perfect. He runs the Reddit basically for Castle Clash, so he's helped me, or pretty much he's done it. He's created a calculator for this Deflect Archdemon, which is one of the big things that we'll be going through today. So I'll just quickly show you what that is going to look like, and we'll get to it momentarily. So this is what it is. I'll go through the in-depths there, but first I want to take a look at the top scores today of the last Archdemon. I didn't get to post during it. There was a lot of stuff going on. So, yep, standard. So what we've got, we'll go have a look at my team really quick. Same as also. Then we're going to go through the heroes one at a time, and then I'm going to show you how to use the calculator and what the stuff means, and pretty much will allow you to build your team or figure out where that borderline of death and survivability is, all thanks to a lot of work in the last 2 weeks, pretty much since the last Archdemon till this Archdemon. We've been working on this calculator, doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, so making it all work pretty much for everyone. So heroes are the same. What we'll do is I'll show you just a complete setup instead of what I've got going on. So we're going to go, to this one, and then we're going to put this on top. Fun times. All right, so this is what we're looking at as the scores that have just finished on the Deflect Archdemon. So big shout out to top guys with all fun and games here. Russian Spy held the top spot for a while, and then we had KY and Exile to have a little bit of fun with their setups. So this was mine, same pretty much as always. I was able to roll a 5 victory lunge on my Dove, which helped. And pretty much that's like nothing changed. I think a lot of people are running 5 BP on SK, so that's the difference there. That's my setup. I got 183. What was it? 183. So 1.183 billion. And then this is Exile's setup. So pretty much identical. He has a 5 BP on SK, and he has decided to also run Mech-Tessa on 4 BP. Now I know KY also ran a 4 BP on Mech-Tessa, and whether or not that is better, yes, they did get 10 million more, or a little bit more than that. Yeah, about 10 mil. Is it just down to that, or is it down to Skull Knights 4 to 5? There's a couple of things there that will add up. The difference in that score. So there wasn't that much difference between second and first. I think there was a Pyromage here, and second actually had 5. KY had 5 UF. So their Fury attack speed, which helped with the ramp up speed. Don't get me wrong, is he's second place for a reason. But there's just little things when we get into this level. There's just little things that are happening. So that's his setup. Scoreboard again. You can go have a look at the Archdemon now unless you're not on Android. But let's just jump in straight to why I've done certain things on my heroes and how we're going to look at this calculator. So let's do this. This is pretty much how it works. So we've got the Archdemon. What mode are we going for? You can do different things. It basically is changing the damage reduction. So that's what that is there. All you need to do is change all this stuff in the yellow. So let's just, for example, work out exactly what my Siren is. So skill level 12, that's just adding on the basic stats of Destiny. So you can actually work out what your hero will be with the 40 Destiny, even though it hasn't come out yet. So that's what essentially your inscription is going to be around. But, Siren is running Life Drain 8, Tenacity 5, Inscription, equipment, that's all thing, and then all HP traits. Now you go to equipment and you can equip pretty much anything that's going to add on extra damage or whatnot. So an other is anything like a pet, anything that doesn't add any health or any damage output to your hero. That's what you're going to go with. So, and then this is what your team setup is. So you've got PD level 10, Chicken level, and Chickaboom level 9, Siren level 10. Now you can also add in this CB is Cursed Battlefield. So there's certain things that happen if you go over here, there's certain things that happen before the damage cap, and one thing you need to understand is the damage cap is about 80, right? So we're rolling on 80, but what that 80 is compromised of is, you know, uncapped. We're looking at, you know, that's PD stacks pretty much. That's 7 PD stacks, which if you go down here, this is what your PD is running. So on the team, so he's, you know, other is life drain 8, and then empower 5 there, but you've also got regen 5, and other is pretty much going to be Zerk or anything else, which is not important. So most top people are running Empower 5, as Regen 5, I'm sure everyone worked out, does not work properly. Not yet anyway. There is theories behind that to make it work. But look, it's pretty simple. Like, all you've got to change here is the yellow stuff. So, and what that spits out is damage over here. So all of this stuff is already calculated. You know, you don't need to worry about it. The version that will be released to Reddit won't have these bonus tabs down here, but this is where all the information comes from. And you know, Mr. Perfect from Reddit, he's been sensational in putting it all together. He's done most of this, and I've just kind of checked it off and made sure it's all going to work together. But you know, you can read how you read it. BDM is base damage multiplier, for anyone who's wondering here. It's working out what your damage is going to do. So in the team setup, 21.49 is 7 PD stacks. So we're looking at worst case. He's not always at 7 PD stacks, but pretty much most of the time he's going to be. And then how you get to 38 is you add on Siren, which is the 1.34, or the 34%, and the Chickaboom at level 9, which is 1.32. So you're timesing that, and eventually you get to 38, and then you add on the 90% reduction from the Archdemon, and you get 3.8. So that's where that works from, and you've got, it gives you the total of your base stats, and then you're going to add on the multipliers, which is that 3.8 onto that. I think, does that sound about right? And then it kind of works it all out for you. So it's giving you your proc damage of Siren. It's giving you the basic attack damage, AA, auto attack. It's also giving you the heal. So that's basing the heal off of the total HP with multipliers. So like Goblet and anything else that you might have in there, like Tenacity 5 crests. And then you're looking at the heal and then the auto attack damage, and then you're actually getting plus. So that's how it works out. And it's telling you the HP, the total. This is over a 4-second period, so to work out how, you know, the HP at the end. And then with crits is just an extra thing. Siren doesn't have any crits, but some heroes do, like Arctica, and obviously if a hero goes to Destiny, they will have a potential for crits as well. So you can kind of go through and figure it out. Can crit true or not true? And you can always just put true, because everyone will potentially have Destiny. And then when they are Destiny, they've got an 8% chance of critting. So obviously Siren over here has a 25% chance of using slowdown. So every hero is different, right? If you don't have like a Pumpkin Duke skin, we're going to go to the bottom left here again, you know, you can go, no, I don't have a Pumpkin Duke skin, and that only changed the fact if your Pumpkin Duke doesn't have a skin. But for Arctica, for example, you take no off because you're only losing 10,000 HP, but you're also not having the crit damage, so your crits are now 1.5 instead of 1.7. So we've pretty much thought of most things to put into this. It's really just up to you guys to basically put in your setup. You can change in your traits over here anything you want: damage, HP, crit or crit damage, anything that's going to affect your HP or damage, or you've got other. So, you know, that's just if you have like a crit resist, for example, for this mode. And then equipment, again, like if we were to do, let's say a PD, like the heroes as well. So these are the heroes that we think are going to be pretty much the ones that you want. All of those there, and you can mess around with that. If anyone really wants anything else, I'm sure we can just chat to Mr. Perfect and he can add in a couple or more, but we did a pretty extensive range of the heroes that are used, and that's pretty much what we have come up with. So is Ghoulam in there? Pumpkin Duke, Skull Knight, Waller, Dovekeeper, Trixie, Demo, Druid, Cupid. No, maybe I'll get him to add Ghoulam, but you know, that's fine. We can add heroes as we do and as we go. Otherwise, you can use the calculator to help you on other stuff, and you can manually change it if you really wanted to, but the thing you're going to stress and have problems with then is that you need to just make sure you download the original copy from Reddit again, you know, to make it all fly for you. So that's pretty much all I wanted to do here today, guys. Just run you through that that calculator. So what we're going to do now, we'll go look at my heroes, and I'll explain to you the importance of Mech Tessa, I think it is. So, and the damage cap with her and how the 100% crit rate works. So that's her setup, that's fine, but we're going to go into the actual hero now really quickly, because there's one thing that I would like to show you, and then I'll do it on the calculator, because I think Mech Tessa is one of the important thing, and it's why the difference between 5 War God crests and 5 BP enchantment versus 5 Victory Lunge enchantment and 5 SD crest. So this is what I run for Mech Tessa with Axe, obviously, but her traits. So as I previously mentioned, you need 4 level 5 traits and at least one other trait of crit. You only needed 10, but at least one other one to make her 100% once she's proccing. Essentially, the more crit you have, the more beneficial it will be in that 2-second downtime when you aren't, you know, buffed. I guess that's still going to work out. So maximum crit will still probably be a better score now that I think about it, rather than but you know, if you can't get that, you only need 4 level 5s and then one of the other one. So when we look at Mech Tessa, the trick about her is that we want her to be hitting for 200k minimum at a time. So let's just go back to this calculator really quick. We want to be hitting her for 200k. So we're going to go to Mech Tessa. We're going to figure her damage out. Mech Tessa, she is skill level 12. She is running BF8. Where are we? BF8 talent, and her crest is SD5. Okay, so inscription to max, and then we want to change her to crit 5, crit 5, crit 5. So, you know, you can literally customize your hero for what it has, for what it doesn't have, and the other one was crit damage 2, I think. So that's all good. Equipment is Victory Lunge 5. Yep, that all stays the same. And then Pumpkin Duke, yep, MP5, that all stays the same also. Oh, what's going on here? AA with crits, probably too much for that column. I wonder if I expand it out, does it go in? Okay, yeah, so it's just the columns that weren't reading as much. Obviously, we're at 500k cap here, guys, so like disregard that and disregard the healing, obviously, because she has the damage cap. So really, you're only looking at the damage here and why it's important. Now, her multiplier, what have I missed here? Something is amiss because, Goblet. Here we go. Because I'm not at 2.0, I think I'm at 204. So my damage is 2, what have I got going on here? Crest is SD5, Axe. So when we read it, there might be some adjustments that need to happen, but from my calculations, she was actually about 204. So there's something that's happened here that has given her an extra 30%. I'm just not sure what it is. SD5, Crest, nothing going on there. But the important thing is that she's now over 200,000 damage. So when I'm looking at her, if she's got 100% crit, which she essentially does in the uptime of her proc, she's hitting her crits all the time with 8BF for 500k pop. 200, 2.5 times, 200k, at least 200k is going to hit you for 500k. So anything in excess of that is not necessarily wasted because you've still got it in the downtime, but it's the most ideal point, like here is the most ideal point to have her at least 200. Don't quote me on that. I believe it's a little bit different. Her it should be about 59 cap. So I might have done something wrong here. Chicken level, yes, Medusa skin. It's pretty much as it should be. So I might go back to the drawing board with him because I think that's slightly too high. I think War God has been added on there for some reason. So if we just took this off and we put other, that's kind of closer to what it's supposed to be because it doesn't add on, but look, that's pretty much it. So your idea in this is to get Mectessa to a minimum of 200,000 damage at her base damage after all multipliers, after the buff cap, you know, all of that. And SK, for example, he is going to be doing a lot higher because he's only skill 10 though. 12 is adding on the destiny bonuses, so you can figure out what he's going to be. He is now does this have it? This might not. Yes, it does have SD8. And then his crest is BF5. Now, same concept works for Jesus. Look, I'm just going to leave that there because it's all the same, but he's got 4 BP. So, his Skull Knight's proc is doing 286. Now, BF5 is only 2 times the crit value. So, if I get Skull Knight to a minimum of 250,000, then he is, when he crits with BF5, he's critting for 500k, which is the important part with Skull Knight and Mectessa. So that's what you got to look for there is the damage. Can you make it work out to be, the higher the better, because when you get a 40% chance to do a slowdown proc, you're looking at doing another $286,000 damage on top of you know, another auto attack or a crit. So you know, maximum output for SK or Skull Knight is about 786,000, almost 800,000 per pop, whereas Mectessa, because of her proc hits on an auto attack, she's doing 1 million damage per 200 milliseconds, like per attack. 5 attacks per second, she's doing 5 million damage per second. And then on top of that, you've got to think about, is slowdown crests better, or is burning plate better, because you're getting the damage every second, and that's one, like, so for example, if this was Mectessa, you're getting that total damage multiplier of, you know, 286, or for Mectessa's case, it was 209. So she's getting a 40%, no, not a 25% chance to hit her slowdown crest proc. Probably, you know, she's hitting 5 times a second. So look, that's once every second. It's comparable to burning plate, which is the damage per second. It's every second. It's actually pretty close. You can get RNG blessed with slowdown, of course, but then you can also get hit hard, and that was the difference. I think my run's 10 million difference, or 7 million, 8 million difference, just because I had better RNG. So while burning plate is probably more precise in the damage output you're going to do, it's not necessarily better, but based on the top scores, it might be the way to go. So I'm probably not going to change mine. It's going to have to some heavy proof besides, you know, the small amount difference. There is other factors that come into play, but, you know, the top scores we're using burning plate on Mectessa, so there's got to be something to go by there. I've probably taken enough of your time, guys. It wasn't, hopefully that makes sense. Of course, we will fine tune all of this. Anyone has any issues, it won't necessarily be uploaded straight away, but I will be putting the link in the description, and I'll be pinning a comment. So that's pretty much it. Look, I've gone through all the heroes that we wanna have a look at. There is the theory that Bliss has been going on. Yeah, good old Bliss. He has his theory is that you can use a 8 of 8 life drain Beast Tamer, and which will allow you to use 5 regen crests. Now, why this is important is because the timing of the Archdemon shield is 4 seconds long. Now, when you put Beast Tamer into this, so let's just go back to this calculator really quickly, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So we got Siren level, we're going to put that down to 0, because Siren will be taken out, and then Beast Tamer will be put in. And then your Beast Tamer level 10, but then you can also add Regen 5, which puts these stacks to a consistent 8. Okay, so when you've got your... where is the base damage multiplier? It's supposed to be up here somewhere. Oh, but this is with Skull Knight. So let's change the hero to... let's just do Pumpkin Duke, for example, because he's the one that you're going to be wanting to keep alive. Where's Pumpkin Duke? At the top there. So level 10, he's... Now, you will have to put, for this purpose, Pumpkin Duke in Goblet, but let's go Life Drain 8, just really quickly, as theory. I'm not sure if this... The calculator should spit out the theory I want it to, and then... Regen 5. Now, the reason you got to do that again is this is the hero. Down here is what the PD is running for the team setup. So down here is the team setup. Up here is the actual hero setup that you're doing. So Regen 5 has some huge bonuses on the attack. Now, you would probably be going other just there for equipment, because that would be like a Pyromage, for example. And all right, so we've got a so the Archdemon reduction now is 5.63. You have to take into account when it's above 8 on this thing here, on this square right here. When it's above 8, you're probably looking at Skull Knight and Mech-Tessa, and that is because they can potentially go above the buff cap, but the calculator doesn't put a ceiling on it. You just have to imagine that if you're seeing numbers over 8 and over 500,000, that they're capping at the demon cap. So 5.63. Now that's pretty hectic, right? Your PD is going to die. He's doing 121,000 damage per AA, per auto attack. Proc damage, he doesn't have a proc, so that's great. His health is nothing. Has he got Goblet in there? He might have Goblet in there. But essentially, he only has to survive 1 second, because if we go back to Beast Tamer, read his skill, pretty much 9 seconds, does 28 more damage, and now the bear will die. There's a couple of things that have to go into it, but just hear me out. So out of the 12-second cycle of Archdemon, the shield's going to go on for 4, and then for 9 seconds, you're also going to have the Beast Tamer going in. It's what Siren does, but Siren's active all the time. Beast Tamer, on the other hand, allows you to drop or only have 28% while the shield is up for 1 second, because 9 seconds, 3-second cooldown, shield is 4 seconds, there's only 1 second where that's going to be actually up. So, ideally, what you're actually going to look at is Beast Tamer then goes to 0, and then for most of the time, you've got a cap here, where are we, see the mouse here, 4.4, so all of a sudden, PD's damage has gone down for when it matters. He's going to get a Goblet proc in there somewhere, either in the 1 second in, or with 1 second to go, because I think the Goblet proc is 3-second cooldown. So worst case scenario, 1 second in, other worst case scenario is 1 second to go, if that makes sense. Or you might be right in the middle, which is probably better anyway. Bloody yeah. So anyway, that was just a theory. That's how, but you can kind of play around with that if you want. But that's the theory there. So using Beast Tamer's cooldown to actually manipulate your base damage multiplier in this column, and the numbers there, and only deal 1 second of 5.6, which is still a lot, but it's only 1 second. And then for the remaining 3 seconds, you're doing a whole lot less. So, 15, what's my calculator? 15 seconds, or 15 hits, I should say, in 3 seconds worth of 15,000. Is that going to fit into his health with a Goblet proc in there somewhere? It's a theory. It's a thin theory at the moment, but it would allow the team to essentially run max PD stacks, or using Regen 5. So take what you will away from that. It'll be interesting. It'll be really hard to make work, but it will be very, very interesting if it can work. So, I wasn't showing you any of that, was I? Because I was still on Beast Tamer. So anyway, what I meant by that is we've changed Beast Tamer's level down here to 0, and all of a sudden his multiplier is 4.4. So if you can imagine, just go back on what I said, is when I change it to 10, it goes to 5.6, which kills you very, 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 very quickly. And happy days when you go down to 0, it changes everything. So we'll go away with that. That's what we'll leave it with. The calculator will be up soon for everyone to download. Happy days. But that's pretty much it for me, guys. That's the in-depth chat. It's a little less in-depth than I thought, because I've given you the calculator now, so you guys can pretty much go away and make your own assumptions. Any updates, either contact me or, I dare say, post it on Reddit once the link goes up. There will be, there will be a chat there to add stuff, or to, if there's a glitch or something not working, just go with that, guys. But yeah, thanks for sticking around, hearing me chat about this. So if you're interested, download it, have a play around with it. It'll let you figure out your team a lot easier. And happy days. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll see you in the next video.